Caicos trade. The Turks and Caicos trade. The Turks and Caicos trade. The Turks and Caicos trade.
Welcome, one and all to a very, very special Made in TCI episode. I'm glad to be here, your host, Leonardo Glasgow. I've got my co-host with me,
Leonardo Lightbourne.
And we've got two very special ladies in the house with us today. And I'll let them introduce themselves before we get started.
Hi everyone, I'm Florise Walkin, Senior Trade Officer in the Department of Trade.
Hi everyone, I am Ayiesha Sammy, the Director of Trade in the Department of Trade.
Thank you so much for introducing yourselves, lady. And I am super excited to have you guys on the show. I can tell you from my childhood, I grew up seeing things made in China and Bangladesh and all these places. But today, we're going to talk about things that are made right here in the Turks and Caicos Islands. And you know, the first question I have for you is, what inspired the creation of the Made in TCI Trade Show, and how has it evolved over the years?
Post-COVID, you know, we recognized that there were a lot of talent. You know, everyone was like making stuff, creating stuff, you know. So we wanted to create a platform where these businesses can showcase that talent, you know, and that was where the idea of Made in TCI came in. So we wanted to promote local goods and services that was made right here in the Turks and Caicos Islands.
So what would you say is the key thing that helps to empower the local entrepreneurs? What gets them out of their shell to start a business?
I would think that it's probably, it will be like their drive to make money. Of course, everyone wants to make money. Everyone wants to, you know, be an entrepreneur at some point, you know, wants to enhance that entrepreneurial skill. So, you know, I would think that would be, you know, one of the most important drives, you know, in doing so.
And you know, what I love about this is that it started during COVID, right? Or it came out as a product out of COVID, right? And COVID became this era where you saw a lot of people leaning towards entrepreneurship. It's like entrepreneurship became a thing.
Right.
You know, so what specific initiatives does the Trade Department have in place to support and mentor young entrepreneurs who are now riding this new wave of entrepreneurship?
The Trade Department works very closely with Invest TCI because they are really the engine that gives out grants and stuff like that. We support those mandates. We are developing workshops and training exercises, which we have done with them. We let people know what we have available in terms of export development. And trade is really the engine that develops policy that makes these businesses grow or thrive. So recently, our quality and standards policy was approved by Cabinet. And that's really to give businesses the opportunity to showcase their stuff, not just locally, but regionally and internationally. One of the biggest critiques that locals have is that we don't know what's in the product. We don't know the quality. We don't know any of those things. And we now want to develop a mechanism that allows them to showcase what is in the product, what it consists of, what is, you know, the nutritional value of certain things. And that's what we really do to help businesses develop policy.
So with this policy is what it's saying is like when I produce something, I now have to go in depth with what's inside of the stuff now.
Right.
I mean, a lot of the businesses, they want to get into the groceries, they want to get into the hotels, and hotels taking those risks, they have to know what is in the product, because if something happens, they're not coming after the small business, they're coming after the hotel. So we have to be so sure in terms of what we put out there, and we want to ensure that the businesses have those opportunities. So where that was an issue before, we want to ensure it's no longer an issue for them moving forward.
Yeah, I think that provides a unique, profound opportunity for especially the young people to know your craft. Like you said, you must know it. Like speaking, for instance, if I ask you what's your name, where you grew up, your favorite color, things that are intrinsic to you. You can just reel it off right off the top of your head, and I think that's the vision you guys are setting for having people to know their products.
Definitely.
Right.
That is very good. How would you say the theme, crafted by nature, perfected by islanders, resonates with the young people and how they can incorporate that into their services?
Well, crafted by nature, I must say the theme came up, by one of my colleagues, when we took a look of our slogan, we're beautiful by nature, So, yes. So she was like, okay, crafted by nature. Because, we're taking, these businesses, they're taking the local resources, the natural local resources, and they are creating them, turning them into something magnificent, So this piece of art that is created, it represents culture, it represents heritage, so it's taking, for instance, TCI Shellman, he uses the conch shell and he makes like magnificent pieces from that. I don't know if you guys ever seen any of his work before, but it's really great.
Thank you for sharing that. We have, again, going back to the original beautiful by nature, right? There's this keen sense to take care of our environments, and for sustainable practices, right? What opportunities does the trade show provide for young people to learn about sustainable practices? Because they're using the environment, right? But how are we making sure that the environment isn't harmed with them using the environment to make these products?
I think right now there's legislature in place for certain things that you can't do when it comes to utilizing even the shells, utilizing the sand. There are limitations to those things now by law. So I think the trade show is a platform for everyone to have discussion. So it allows different businesses who have similar products to discuss how they do it and how they maintain those sustainable practices. I mean, in a lot of these speeches that we do, we also talk about that, and we talk about the importance of ensuring that the environment is not unharmed. And one of the biggest things, as we say, Turks is beautiful by nature, and we want to maintain that. But we also want to showcase how beautiful it is, right? So when people use the sand, or they use the water, or they use the shell, it really highlights how beautiful the island is, but we still have to maintain that.
Yes.
And that is one of our important things in the trade show.
And then we also invite stakeholders as well. So we have stakeholders like environmental health, Department of Agriculture. So they're also there, with their setup, educating people, as to how to protect the environment,
I know last year you had the forum. Is the forum coming back again this year?
No.
Okay.
We had like a round, we call it a round table session, a panel discussion, right? We want to do that separate, like something separate. We wanted to have some one-on-one discussions with businesses, but this year we really wanted to focus on what entrepreneurs have to offer. So we're focusing more on the Pitch Me. This year we have our fashion show for the first time, highlighting the fashion of the island. And when we talk about fashion, it's not just clothes, it's accessories, it's earrings, it's handbags, it's anything like that. So we want to take a different direction just in terms of focusing on the businesses. We will always get the opportunity to speak to them and have those discussions when need be.
So I'm hearing that there possibly will be tailored workshops and different seminars planned for these entrepreneurs moving forward. But speaking on the fashion show, how can young people get involved in the fashion show this year?
Well, registration has already been closed for the fashion show. Yes, unfortunately.
No late registration,
no? No late registration.
I was trying.
But you can catch us next year. Yes, but I mean, you guys can come out and, experience the show. And
the fashion show is the same day as?
Yes, the same day as the event, Saturday, November 23rd.
Just talking about the fashion show, what type of exposure can they get? I mean, the vendors who are partaking in the fashion show? What type of exposure can they get from this?
Well, I think when it comes to showcasing what you have to offer, you never know who's in the audience.
Right.
And Turks is blessed to have a very robust tourism product in terms, and we are in high season. A lot of people are coming, a lot of people are on island, and this year one of the initiatives we have for the show is shuttling people from these hotels for them to come and experience the show. We don't know who would be in that crowd to really showcase it, but of course these things will be highlighted on social media, these things will be advertised on all our social media platforms. So
Right.
that is the type of exposure that they get in addition to showcasing to people who are there.
Right.
So I think that is the biggest thing right now, and it's also the first time that we're doing it for Made in TCI.
I had a thought just now. So I know you will have entrepreneurs there who will be showcasing their talents and their skills. How about the background work? Because that's also a talent and a skill. Logistical planning, project management. Is that something that you guys are looking to offer too? So probably having a volunteer section where I can come in. I'm just helping to put on the show, but that could also turn into being my craft.
So we have an event coordinator that usually handles all those things. But every year we do get volunteers. We've had volunteers from the college. So they get to have a first-hand experience in terms of what goes into putting on such an event, right? And this year with the fashion show, that's an added thing, an added initiative that they could get familiar with in terms of how background happens, how to put on a show, how to get it on time. So all those things, of course, will be handled by the event coordinator, but it's not a one-man show.
Okay, yeah.
So we're going to have volunteers, definitely.
Now, there's an exciting part of this trade show that I believe is the highlight of the event. And I'm talking about the pitch me competition. I mean, it's nerve-wracking, as I can imagine what vendors go through, because now you have to know your product, sell your product for an opportunity to win money. And then, you know, in some cases we say nothing goes without money. You can't grow your business without it. And so what advice would you give to young entrepreneurs or a new entrepreneur who wants to enter the competition but is afraid to enter it?
Okay.
Well, well, again, the registration is closed.
No, but still,
It's closed
for future.
right.
Yeah.
But for future, and even for those that are a part of the competition, I would say, you know, it's important to really, you know your product. You know, you have to know your product. You have to be confident. You know. Be focused, you know, believe in yourself and believe in the product, you know, because you have to come correct with this pitch. You know, there's a lot of money on the line. So, you know, just basically, you know, have faith, have confidence in your product.
When you say a lot of money, how much money?
I mean, we have different prices, but I think one of the most important things, usually the pitch me competition is for you to explain to us why you need this money, right? What you've done so far, where you see your product going, and how you want to expand.
Right.
It's like telling us a story, how it started, why you got into the business, and all of that is you're pitching yourself and pitching the product, right? So anyone that would have watched a Shark Tank or anything like that, it's similar to that. I understand that it's nerve-wracking, but being an entrepreneur requires you to take a risk.
Exactly.
And those risks require you to be brave. And I think that is the one thing that they need to remember. Half the battle is already won. They have the business, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not like someone who's now coming with a business. These people already have it. So you halfway successful in this competition as it is. So it's just to be, you know, just be brave and come forth. And you could win $5,000.
And even if you don't win, you know, at least that this is a platform for you to introduce your business, you know, introduce your product. So, you know, and like Ms. Sammy said earlier, you never know. You never know who will be in the audience. You never know who's watching.
And, you know, there's another thing, too. After you win this money, does the department track or follow up with these vendors to make sure that they're being responsible?
I mean, I could say that everyone that has won thus far, their
Yes.
business is still operating.
Oh,
Yes.
amazing.
And they are still
And
thriving.
they're thriving
Amazing.
very well. Yes.
That's great. So can you share like at least one success story that has come out of Made? This is year 3.
Yeah.
Can you share at least one success story of a young person that has probably gone through the program and you've seen that their business is still operational and thriving?
The person
Well,
came second last year. Because she also got an award from Invest TCI.
Oh, Miss Anya Pratt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, she's doing very well
Walik.
as well. Walik, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
she expanded her business as well. So she went from clothing into leather goods. Yeah, and I think she's still doing some more expansion with that.
And
that's
going
great.
green and doing green initiatives.
Oh, Walik is a superstar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is.
And she
International.
also won.
International.
Yes.
She also won an award. She has exported stuff and
Yeah.
fixed stuff for people. So
Yes.
yeah, and she came second in our Pitch Me last year.
Yeah, she did.
Amazing. What I like about Walik Products is that she is very keen on sustainable
Yes.
and sustainable practices and
Yes.
green products. So I
Yes.
love that for her
Yes.
and what she's doing.
And she's very passionate.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
very
Extremely.
passionate about her work, and she's a very sweet person as well. Too.
Very, very, very sweet. Now, there are entrepreneurs or inspiring entrepreneurs who might have attended past events. Have the department heard about stories of entrepreneurs being inspired by the trade event to pursue a business or pursue something in regards to at least starting a product of some kind? Has there been any stories around those type of individuals?
I mean, we have people that signed up this year that it's based on the experience last year,
Okay.
right? They wanted to start a product. They saw people started a product. They also have a platform that is free for them to showcase their product. I mean, I think that's one of government's initiatives to allow entrepreneurs to really have a platform to showcase their product. And it allows other entrepreneurs, younger people, to see that it is possible. I mean, we have one of our youngest entrepreneurs, I think she was probably like 10 or 11
Right.
last year. They
Yes.
have like a bakery business. So you'll be
Yes.
surprised how many young people are actually involved in Made in TCI. And I think even with the author who has the book, it's based on her daughter or somebody
Yes,
else.
that's-
And yeah, all those things are inspiring stories. And a lot of people come to the trade show and see that it is possible. And they wait till next year. We had some people that just recently signed up, and it was because they didn't know, they saw it last year and they want to be
Right.
part of it
Yes.
this year.
I was about to say we had several of the attendees from the past trade shows that actually signed up, you know, just from attending the trade show and seeing what was going on. Yeah.
That's great.
And you sell.
Yes.
Apart from coming out and having a blast, because I went last year and I had a really good time, but apart from being able to shop and support local goods and probably meeting new people and sign up, are there any unique things that we can look for in this year's trade show?
Well, we definitely plan to have entertainment. We hope, as we said, we have the fashion show. We are hoping to have a little fireworks at the end, you know.
Yes.
You're going all
Culminate-
night.
to culminate the experience. The time has changed. It gets a little darker earlier.
True.
So we really want this to be an unforgettable experience.
Amazing.
It's a lot of new things this year, and we really want people to come out and experience everything that TCI has to offer. We talk about the goods, we also have services, we also have talent, people that could sing, people that could dance. We have the Junkanoo Band. There's so many, the food, the culinary experience. So there are a lot of things that TCI has to offer.
Should I attend the trade show on an empty stomach? Because that's the impression I get.
Of course, yes.
Yes.
You definitely should. You
and make
most
sure you
definitely
go
should.
to the bank first.
Yeah,
Take
definitely.
cash.
Take
and
Cash,
card.
cash.
Okay, so don't walk with a card, walk with cash. Okay.
Walk with both.
Walk with both.
Okay, no
Walk with
problem.
both.
No problem. Now, as a vendor participating in the event, how can I utilize this platform to connect with people, or what should I be doing as a vendor, a new vendor coming into the trade show?
I think a lot of our new vendors that came last year, they usually have support, and they go around to all the other booths and speak with other entrepreneurs. It's kind of like an opportunity to have a think tank session where you bring like-minded people together that could discuss, maybe we having the same problem, maybe you had the problem before, and you could help me address it. And as we said before, a lot of the government services are also there. So revenue is there, responsible for business licensing. We have immigration and customs, which is now border force. They will be there as well. So when you want duty-free concessions, all these things, the process, they speak about all that. We have agriculture there, if you want to get into farming and fisheries, you know, if you want to set up hydroponic farms, they are there as well discussing that. So it's really an opportunity to speak to not only like-minded people, but speaking to the policymakers that can make your business thrive.
That's amazing, man.
So I have a caveat.
Go ahead.
It's unplanned, but I am a young, passionate entrepreneur in the Turks and Caicos Islands, and I want to make a difference in my country. What advice do you have for me? Go.
Florise.
I'd probably say, you know, don't give up on that dream to make a difference. You know, capitalize on it in any which way you can. You know, this country, it needs you. So, you know, whatever dream you have in making that a reality, you know, whatever work you have to do, just, you know, just make sure, do it, put in the work, and, you know, and try make that dream come true.
Great. Thank you so much. You know, how I mean, we're wrapping up now, right? But this whole thing is called a trade show, and you know, the whole idea is to promote entrepreneurs, right? Why is entrepreneurship so important to an economy?
The driving force of any economy will always be the small businesses, right? And I think COVID was a prime time for most economies to see that. Local businesses,
Specifically the small ones.
Local businesses, small businesses, they keep money going around the economy. I mean, that is true in most and any developing country. And I think it allows people to see themselves in a different light, right? To be your own boss, to thrive higher. I think when most economies thought they weren't shut down when it came to tourism being on shutdown because borders were closed, it forced you to think outside the box. And I think that's why entrepreneurship is so important. We keep evolving as the economy, we keep evolving as a society. And if people are not thinking outside the box or thinking of new ways to improve our life, we become stagnant, we become stale. And I think that's why entrepreneurship, while people think small businesses, we're small, it's a small economy, that's all it could be, that's a far-fetched concept. I tell people all the time, in Cayman, quick story, they started off with the Tortuga rum cake. It was somebody who just used to bake cakes at like parties and stuff. And somebody said, you need to sell this. They went to the port. Now it's one of the biggest distributors in Cayman. And Cayman has a population similar to Turks. So people think that because the island is small, it could only stay here. That's not true. And we want to provide them with the opportunity to see bigger and think bigger. So that's really what it's all about.
And if you know, it's also a way where we wouldn't have to rely on imports as much, you know, for certain products, you know, and it's also a push towards, you know, economic diversification.
Amazing responses. Thank you, ladies, so much.
Really great. So we had like 6 more questions, but we can't take up any more of the ladies' time. I will be out there on the 23rd. What time do we start?
At 12.
12 o'clock on the dot. We're starting on time.
Yes.
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 Great. But I'll be looking out, and I'm sure you can look out to see Miss Ayiesha, see Miss Florise, ask them any more questions that I'm sure that you've had after this conversation. And thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you there.